Alright, so here we're gonna review of the Kinera Hodur. I think that's how you pronounce it. It is a 1DD, 1BA, 1EST driver IEM that retails for around $300. And it's by Kinera, and as you can see, they really know how to do packaging. This packaging looks amazing. And before we get into this, I wanted to give a quick shout out to a friend of mine named Singh. He sold me this for a really great price in perfect condition, knowing that I do reviews. Anyway, let's get into this. Let's open this up. Come on, come on. There we go. Got the booklet and the final e-tip little paper, because these do come with final tips, which are actually not cheap. So yeah, I don't know whose idea this was. I get it, it's kind of cool, but it's not very intuitive or useful. So that's a waste of paper, which is cool. Great. Anyway, remove this little sheet here, and we get a presentation here of everything that comes with it. You have the IEMs here, which we'll just pull out. All right, come on, come on. There you go. Get the final tips, which you can pull out with these little tab. I have a set pulled out, so we can talk about that in a second. We have the Hodur case, which it has this really cool Hodur kind of like branding on it. I like this a lot. It's kind of the generic shape that a lot of IEM cases are in, but it's just a little bit customized. It's nice. You have these two modular plugs, because it does come with a modular cable. And yeah, that's about it. Actually, no, you can see this is modular. I'm just put this back, so we don't have too much stuff on the table. All right. So opening the case up, you do have a cable, which is like a purple mixed with black. I personally think it looks nice. And we'll take these tips out. You got more sets of tips other than just the finals. Okay, so I'll just put these back now. We will talk about the tips and the sound of each tip when we get to the sound section of the review. Alright, so let's talk about the cable. I like this cable quite a lot, actually. I think it's a very nice cable. I think Kinera always seems to do cables well. This is very not because of me being terrible at wrapping in coils. It's not usually like this. I swear, I use this actually a lot. Come on, there we go. Yeah, the cable is pretty straight, and one of the tips that I had saved for the audio portion has just flown off the table. 1 second. All right, got it. So yeah, the cable stays pretty straight. I think it's just overall a pretty nice quality cable, and it's modular, which is fantastic. Okay, get that focus, please. Thank you. All right, so wrapping this back up now, let's talk about the build and comfort and all that. So build all metal shell, very small. Many IEMs claim it's the smallest tribid, just like the Shozi Magma. A lot of people were saying that's the smallest tribid. No, this is definitely the smallest tribid. This is almost like IE 600 300 level of size. Like, this is super tiny. One thing that is not good about the build is you see these. I also think they look very nice, but we see these these crystals. I'm trying to forget it to focus. Show up on these little curves. A lot of people have been claiming that these actually come off with use. I personally haven't had that problem. I haven't had any of them come out, but over time I'm sure they actually will. I can tell by touching it that you can feel that they are just there's a glue or something underneath it that's holding them in place. I feel like they could have solved this problem really easily by just putting that underneath a layer of resin or something. But other than that, no problems with the build. Comfort is great, of course, with how small this is. It's kind of expected. Okay, let's get into what you care about. Sound, okay? It came with these tips, and the final tips. And I am also going to review it with the spin fits that I use on everything. Cool thing is the purple kind of matches the theme here. Anyway, so talking about the sound with each tip. Let us go from what order here? Let's go with these tips first. These tips were, first of all, I want to say all of the tips sound great on these. All of them do. But these tips were probably my least favorite of all of them. It's just, this is the tip for the bass head. This makes the bass emphasize more. That's kind of it, really. It's the emphasized bass. Mid-range is not too recessed. It's fine. Treble is good. Overall, everything is great with these, but this is the more bass heavy, uh, bass heavy tips. The bass is a little bit like not as textured as actually the other ones, which is interesting, even though it emphasizes the bass, and it does do a little bit too much emphasis for my personal preference. I'm just gonna put this away now. Ignore the train in the background, please. Now, these tips are more of the mid-range focus, and it's good. I like it. It does decrease the soundstage, which we'll talk about in a second. So, other than that, though, great treble, great mid-range, great bass, but not my preference. I'm taking the ones that are not like my favorites. I'm just gonna be focusing on these two because I have too much to say about these things, and I don't want this video to be an hour long. So, let's talk about now first let's go bass, mids, highs, and we'll talk about the tips as we go along. The bass. So the bass on this set is good. It's punchy. It's dynamic, but I wouldn't say it's the most textured or detailed. I think that you can get better detailed bass in other sets in this price range of $300, but it's still great bass. I think it's good quality. I actually first heard. I wanted to mention. I forgot already to mention this. I first heard a set of these in Japan in earphone, and so thank you to the people in earphone for letting me test out all the IEMs there and everything like that. They're really great there. And that's why I bought these. Like I saw these there, I tried it out, I liked them so much I had to get one to try for a longer period of time. Anyway, I just wanted to get that out of the way first. Now the bass is fine. But it's not like the most textured, most detailed bass, but for the price, it's excellent. It's very good. Going on to the mid-range. Mid-range is probably my favorite part about these. Vocals are forward, but not too forward. Treble is fantastically extended, but just not sibilant at all. I've never had sibilants on these. Perfectly rolled off where it would get sibilant, but it extends beautifully. Great detail in the treble as well. They did great work working with this EST driver. The mid-range sounds full and just overall great quality, which is very surprising given it only has one BA. I don't know if the BA is doing the mids and the highs, or if it's doing just the highs and dynamic is taking care of bass and mids. I'm not sure, but overall the mids are very full, clean, crystal clear, beautiful mid-range. Treble, fantastic. Now I want to get into the main thing that I love about this set. I know I went through that pretty quickly because I want to talk about the stage on this set. The sound stage is incredible for $300. I haven't heard a stage this wide since the Phantom. I think that the Phantom, the Phantom and the Mest Mark II are the only things with this much stage that I've heard. And the imaging is probably actually the cleanest I've heard, along with maybe the Phantom. And this is $300. Now, I don't usually like hype over something. This is one of my favorite sets, period. Not like for the price. This is one of my favorite sets, period. I will say, this is not going to technically compete with those sets. This is not technically competing with $1,000 sets. And I nobody ever claimed it does. I'm not claiming it does. This is just a stage, and the imaging is pinpoint accurate. Some of the best imaging I ever heard. The width goes all the way until it reaches like around the side of your ear once it gets too far this way. And you can just hear every single detail so perfectly in place. Like, I forgot what the song is called, but there was a song where, someone's talking here, talking there, talking here, talking there. And there's a bell here, bell there. And you can hear it so crystal clear in the exact location you want it to be. It sounds excellent. I was listening to this for hours in a day because I just loved it so much. Anyway, when you use the final tips, you get a more balanced sound, and the stage is a little bit smaller than with these, but you still get a great stage, and you get a beautiful mid-range, everything, and it's a little bit more focused. It's a little bit more intense, more energetic, fun with the final tips. I think the final tips sound great with these. It was a very good idea for them to include that with the Hodur. It's a really great pairing. But for me, my favorite pairing had to have been the spin fits. The spin fits widened the sound to that point that I was talking about of how far it can go. And the imaging was perfect. The treble was perfectly extended. The mid-range was just crystal clear, full. I was so shocked, especially because I've seen the other reviews of these things, and there are no bad reviews about it that I've seen. But I've seen a lot of this like, oh, it's good. No, to me, these are incredible. I can't believe the low amount of attention these are getting. But overall, anyway, just overall, and I do everything exactly the way I want it to do. Maybe I'd like a little bit more forward mid-range, but the mid-range is already forward. I love that. I love the bass on these, but I wish it had a little bit more texture, a little bit more impact. It could have a little bit more impact and more texture. The treble's perfect. This is how I want treble done and everything. This is the way I like treble being done. I think that the main pitfalls are like detail retrieval is not beyond the $300 price tag. I think you're getting the price tag, like the good IEMs in the price range level of detail, but it's not like flagship detail. You are getting the best imaging some of the best imaging I've heard in an IEM, some of the best soundstage I've heard in an IEM. You're getting fantastic tuning, and all of the tips sound great. The high bass level tips also sound great. If I was in the mood for like very bass heavy music, I would love to use these tips and the other ones too. Everything is done just the way I like it to be done. So this became one of my favorite IEMs of all time. Period. Though the detail isn't flagship, okay? Though the bass could have more impact. The presentation that these IEMs give you is just mind-blowing. Soundstage, the imaging, the vocal presentation, the instruments, just everything so clean, clear, smooth. All the drivers, all three drivers of all different types work together seamlessly as if it was a single dynamic. Absolutely incredible. I don't hype over a lot of sets. If you've been watching my channel or if you look through my other videos, you can see that. I'm not someone that hypes over things very often. This is one of these things that are worth hyping for me. So, of course, as you can tell, this gets my absolute recommendation. Absolutely amazing. I honestly would change very little about this set if I could make the perfect set of my own. That's about it. See ya.